Medic is the ubercharging, overhealing, and primary healer class in Team Fortress 2. With a solid 150 HP, Medic is a support class and the only one with a healing gun and regenerative health. Medic's purpose is to heal and revert damage done to teammates using his Medigun, top off teammates with overhealth to give them an advantage in combat, and build ubercharge to gain invincibility to push through enemy holds or defend against their push. Medic's arsenal consists of a syringe gun, a medigun, and bone saw. The syringe gun fires a steady stream of weak syringes that travel at a slow speed and at an arc. This means you have to aim slightly higher the farther the enemy is, and it will take the syringes longer to hit their target. This makes the syringe gun not effective at offensive combat, as its time to kill is slow. Even so, it is still a reliable weapon with its high clip size, fast fire rate, and relatively fast reload speed. It is best used against weakened or alone enemies. The Medigun, when fired and attached to a teammate, heals the patient at a base rate of 24 HP per second. This rate can be increased by healing patients who have been out of combat for a while. It also has the ability to overheal the patient, as in giving them additional health to their normal maximum, up to 150% of it. For example, a 200 health soldier can be overhealed to 300 HP. This overhealth does decay over a short time. The Medigun also cures status effects faster, such as flames, as long as you keep the beam on the patient. If the patient has a faster movement speed than Medic, such as Scout, then Medic will match that speed. The Medigun's most powerful ability is the ubercharge, which grants invulnerability for at most 8 seconds. When the ubercharge is fully charged, then it can be activated by hitting the alternate fire button, which by default is the right mouse click. It is charged by healing teammates, at its fastest when the teammate is not close to maximum overhealth. Otherwise, the charge rate is cut in half. If there is another source of healing, such as another medic, then the rate is cut by another half. Patients who request healing will have this symbol above their head. The bone saw deals high damage at close range. The most powerful tool in Medic's arsenal is the ubercharge. Once charged, it grants up to 8 seconds of invulnerability to the medic and the patient. Activation of the uber is also known as popping. You can uber multiple people, giving them brief moments of uber called flashes. The more people you flash, the quicker your ubercharge drains. Most times you want to stay on a single patient. However, sometimes it might be more useful to uber 2 or more people. Stay aware of this penalty as it cuts around 2 seconds per patient. The best classes to uber are powerful, damage classes that can move relatively fast and take full advantage of an uber. Demoman and Soldier are the best classes to uber as they deal massive amounts of damage quickly and effectively around a space. Pyros are also great as they can engulf multiple foes in flames, but might suffer in range and speed. Scouts are also great as they can chase down targets and pick enemies off, but are less effective at dealing with crowds as his scattergun is a single shot with only 6 rounds per clip. Heavies are amazing uber patients on defense, mowing down overconfident enemies, but suffers at pushing as his slow speed can let the enemy run away, practically wasting uber. The heavy has to already be in a good position to take full advantage of uber. Engineer, Spy, and Sniper and other medics are usually last resort patients as their weaponry cannot take full advantage of uber. Uber is meant to break defensive lines, end stalemates, and defend against a push, things that these classes are not as good at or don't need uber to achieve that goal. If they're really all you've got, it's better to use it on them than to die without using it at all. In general, you want to activate uber as close as possible to the place you want to clear, in order to waste the least amount of time getting to the fight while uber is active. You don't want to hold it for too long, however, as medic can easily die before having the chance to use uber. Ubercharge is also a great tool that can be used defensively to counter a push. Nothing scares an attacker like an unkillable class. You want to make sure that the enemy is close enough before using it to make sure that they cannot run away from the uber easily. But keep in mind not to hold it on for too long, as again, medic can easily die before using it. Finally, you don't need a patient to activate ubercharge. If you really need to, you can use uber solo to run away if you're stuck behind enemy lines, or use it before you can reach your patient to ensure you don't die before using it. Your uber can be also used to block enemy progress on a point or payload cart. Using Uber and standing in the way can be a good last resort method of buying your team time to get back to fighting. However, this strategy is high risk with low reward as you are not taking full advantage of Uber. It's usually better to take a patient with the Uber to clear the objective. It might be a better strategy to just look for another patient to use the Uber with. The Medigun's healing itself is also a powerful tool with its own unique behaviors. Medic can use a mechanic known as crit healing to heal effectively and rapidly in order to give his teammates the edge in battle. Crit healing is the effect where if the patient has been out of combat for a while, such as when respawning or being out of a fight, then healing towards that patient is multiplied by up to 3 times, depending on how long it's been. The most common way to utilize this is during the setup time of a round. Since everyone has just spawned into the match, everyone takes crit heals, and as such you can quickly top off everyone with overhealth before the match begins. The next most common way is when there are a lot of damaged patients. By the time you finish healing one patient fully, the next one will most likely heal significantly faster due to crit heals, and then the third even faster. Ubercharge building is also affected by how you heal too. Ubercharge is built the fastest on patients who are not close to their maximum overhealth. Once a patient is near the max, the ubercharge build rate is cut in half, as well as being cut in half if the patient is healed by another source, such as with another medic or dispenser. What this means is that TF2 wants you as a medic to heal patients who are not being healed already. While healing does stack when receiving health from 2 or more medics, the downside of significantly slower build rate is just not worth it. Plus, most classes can outdamage the amount of healing easily. So, taking all the mechanics of the Medigun into account, in summary, TF2 wants you as a medic to actively heal individuals that are in combat to give them the edge in a fight by rewarding you with the fastest ubercharge build rate. Once the fight is over, take your time to fully heal all of your patients and switch off each one when they are healthy. When you can, use your crit heals to top off those who are recently reaching the front lines or have been out of combat for a while with overhealth to give them the advantage in the quickest possible way. But once you are done, look for another patient who needs healing. Medic is the only class to have regenerative health by default. The longer it has been since Medic has taken damage, the more health he regenerates per second. Put on top of that his faster running speed, this makes Medic a pretty effective class at running away from fights. If you feel the area is too dangerous, back out. You're better alive with any amount of Uber you have than dead. Medic is the most vulnerable class in TF2 as he doesn't have an effective arsenal for defense. While his health is 25 points higher than the usual class, it is still weak when compared to the more powerful classes. Medic can be killed with 2 shots by Soldier, Demoman, Engineer, and Scout, and also shredded quickly by Heavy and Pyro. Sniper can kill Medic with a single headshot, and Spy can kill Medic with a single backstab. This is where positioning and awareness becomes Medic's greatest tool for survival. Staying near other classes can increase your chances of survival as your overhealth and their strength can easily outmatch a lone foe. Medics are Spy's greatest target as your team loses a lot by not having a medic or Uber. Plus, medics are preoccupied with healing, so this makes them easy prey for Spies. Looking around for spies every once in a while will greatly increase your survivability, as once a spy is found out, it is less likely he will engage. Call those spies out. Snipers also favor medics for the exact same reason. Think about where a sniper might most likely be located on a map and avoid those areas. The best counter to a sniper is not being a valid target. Also, don't be shy to overheal your sniper as well, as an overhealed sniper can survive a headshot with overhealth, allowing them to kill the enemy sniper with ease. If your patient is overwhelmed and is likely to die even with your healing and you don't have Uber to save them, take the opportunity to run away. Better you save your built Uber than let it go to waste. Regroup with the rest of your team. If you cannot run away and your only option is to fight, then fight with your syringe gun and bone saw, especially if you only have to face a single enemy. Ubercharge might make you invincible, but it is still susceptible to knockback. Pyro can push ubercharged players with his air blast and thus nullify an ubercharged push. Make sure that your patients deal with a pyro before or during an ubercharge to ensure that this doesn't happen. Otherwise, if an Uber is stopped by a pyro, it's better to just back out while your Uber is still active. Bullets and explosives can slow you down or blast you far away, also countering your ubercharge. One technique to use that works great against sentries is to put yourself in between your patient and the enemy sentry. That way, the sentry is only pushing you and your patient is allowed to walk forward without hindrance. Be aware of enemy hazards on a map such as saws and death pits or enemy teleporters, as they can kill ubercharged players. In conclusion, while Medic does not feature big offensive capabilities to defeat his foes, his arsenal with healing and ubercharge makes him one of the most vital classes in Team Fortress 2. His gameplay is one of the most rewarding, and no one will bat an eye when a Medic shows up to support his team. Don't underestimate Medic as just a healer, as he is one of the most game-changing classes in the game, and, in his own way, just as deadly as any other.